The Dershow.
Let me tell you something about the war. The war in Gaza would be over today. There'd be a permanent ceasefire. The hostages would have been returned if Biden had only stuck to his guns. In the beginning, he said, I support Israel. I support the overthrow of Hamas. Let Israel do what it has to do. And then came Michigan and the threats and woke and the left. And it frightened him. His political advisor said to him, you could lose Michigan. If you lose Michigan, you might lose the election. And so Biden backed away. And that's why Hamas is still fighting. If Hamas knew that Israel had the unequivocal support of the United States and it would never back down and it would always veto resolutions at the Security Council against Israel, Hamas would not continue fighting. They would give back the hostages, call for a ceasefire. The war would be over. So yes, I am pointing a finger of blame at President Biden for not doing what he should have done, which could have ended the war more quickly. It could have saved more lives. Hectoring Israel doesn't save lives. Lecturing, threatening Israel doesn't save lives. What saves lives is ending the war victoriously for Israel with total defeat and destruction of Hamas. And that won't come about if you have Jake Sullivan and President Obama and President Biden and Chuck Schumer and the others saying, no, we don't like Netanyahu. 80% of Israelis may dislike Netanyahu, but they favor his war aims. They support going into Rafah. They support killing the remaining or capturing the remaining Hamas commanders, destroying the 2 battalions that remain. Imagine if this war ends with Hamas still having 2 battalions, major leaders, Sinwar, the leader, still alive and well. He will announce that he's won the war. And, Biden correctly said about Ukraine, if Ukraine is allowed to be defeated by Putin, Putin's not stopping in Kiev. He's moving on. He might go to Poland. He might go to Lithuania, to Latvia, to Estonia. He may go to Finland. Who knows? And I say the same thing about Hamas. If Hamas isn't stopped now in Gaza, it's coming to a theater near you. This is in the interest of the United States of America, and Biden is not doing his job, and Schumer is not doing his job, and Adam Schiff is not doing his job, and that Jewish congresswoman from Vermont, whose parents were Holocaust survivors, is not doing her job. How dare you tell Americans that a vote for Trump is a vote for Netanyahu, as if to scare them away? Americans don't get to vote for Netanyahu, and they don't get to vote against Netanyahu, and they don't get to threaten what happens if Israelis disagree with them. Israel is the most democratic country in the Middle East, and perhaps one of the most democratic countries in the entire world. What other country has had 5 elections in the last 7 or 8 years? What other country's major newspaper, Haaretz, is constantly attacking Netanyahu and attacking the Israeli government? Israel, there are demonstrations every Saturday night and most Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's a vibrant democracy, and it's a democracy that doesn't engage in domestic violence. When they had this great dispute about judicial reform, and even now the dispute about whether there should be a ceasefire and try to get the hostages back, there's no violence. They're demonstrations. They're political demonstrations that Americans should try to emulate and be proud of. Israel is our democratic ally, and we don't get to tell them who to elect. They know who to elect. In fact, right now, if there were an election today, they would not elect Netanyahu. Who knows what would happen after the war if Hamas is defeated? But let the Israeli political system operate. Let the checks and balances, which they have an active Supreme Court, they have a Knesset, they have a active media, they have people involved in protests every day, and they have elections all the time. They're not definitive elections often, because the Israeli political system is complicated. But keep your nose out of Israeli politics, just the way Israelis should keep their noses out of American politics. We are sister democracies. We get to vote for our own people. We are loyal to our country. Yeah, I wear a pin. You can see it. It has Israel and the United States. I support both. I'm an American. I love America. but I'm a Jew and I'm a Zionist and I support Israel.